Hello, everybody. My name is Jeff Schinella. I'm a product director here at GitKraken. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about DORA and PR performance metrics, some ways you can use them to help you and your team's workflow get a little better, especially with the advent of AI and how it's affecting some of these things. Before we kind of get into it, though, a little bit about myself. Who am I, as we say? It's been 14 years since I started at GitKraken. It's a long time. I've been a part of a ton of different ideas, product ideas from 0 to 1, one of which being GitKraken Desktop way early on in those days. My latest thing right now is I'm focused on GitKraken Insights, which is our software engineering intelligence platform. And you'll see some of a preview of that here in the slides today. I have a background in user experience and design, and also some front-end development too. But I've been doing mostly product leadership stuff in the most recent years here. Feel free to hit me up via email or on LinkedIn if you have any questions. And with that, let's get into it. So before we get going, I do want to just give a quick refresher on DORA. DevOps Research and Assessment is a program by Google. Been around for quite a while right now, just in case there's anybody who sort of forgot or vaguely familiar about these benchmark metrics. They typically come in 4 flavors, 2 of which are around speed, 2 of which are around your quality side, and they are used by engineering teams everywhere to help sort of measure and keep monitor a pulse on like the health of how the team workflow is going, the quality of the things that everybody's shipping out. So real quick, you can see it on the screen here. Deployment frequency, we're talking about that, just how often your team's shipping code, right? How often changes are getting pushed to the repos to a particular point in time where it matters. The other is lead time for changes, sometimes called change lead time. And this typically is measured from when the first commit is created on a particular set of changes to when that change lands in production. And then I mentioned the other half about quality. Your change failure rate is typically the percent or number of deployments that go out with introducing any issues or bugs. And then the mean time to recover, MTTR, is just how fast it takes for your team to fix those things. So those are core critical to kind of engineering teams, a lot of engineering teams everywhere. And they can really be guiding sort of North Star metrics on like that health and that pulse of your team. But it doesn't tell you why things are happening, right? You kind of have to go deeper. And so that's why we're going to talk a little bit about how PR metrics can play in with that, especially when it comes to AI workflows. So your PR metrics and your DORA metrics can be used in tandem to highlight a common scenario we've heard about. We've even seen some of this in our own dev teams, but that is PR counts are going up and a deployment frequency is staying flat, right? And your lead time's not going up. This is happening for a lot of reasons, right? AI is generating a lot more code, which is leading to a lot more PRs. It's making our devs, twice as fast at writing code and generating code. I've even heard of devs just kind of writing code, the same code for the same problem in like 3 different LLMs and then kind of just trying to pick the best one. But that doesn't mean that your review process has caught up, right? So you're seeing these long review queues, you're seeing other things happen. And that's what we're going to talk about for this talk. So that's that connection, right? The DORA metrics, if you're looking at those, you kind of think of them as like they're made up of hundreds and hundreds of tiny PR journeys, right? Those PR journeys are encapsulated in these PR metrics that we like to look at. I'd suggest looking at cycle time, right? Which is that overall start to finish time it takes from your first commit on a set of pull requests till when that PR is merged or aka deployed. Another valuable metric here is pickup time, how long that PR takes before anybody sort of looks at it, whether it's like a comment or a review is left directly. If your PRs are sitting and they're not being looked at all, that's another good indicator for you and your team to pay attention to. The number of iterations, the amount of changes, the change frequency within a PR or within even a code base is really important as well. And then there's this sort of what we call like the tax, the post-PR merge work, right? This is kind of like a hidden tax that is indicative of potentially PRs being merged without a review, right? So this is how frequently code is changing. If that PR gets merged and then within a 7-day window, the same code is changed again, and you see that happening over and over, that can be suggestive of problems in the review area as well. So Really, I guess the takeaway here is, these PR metrics can be the leading indicators for your DORA metrics, which would drive those sort of trends you see in DORA. I mentioned that common scenario, right? DORA is showing the symptom, but PR metrics can reveal that cause. You get a lot more PR volume, you get cycle time going up, you get first response time going up, but all your deployment frequency is staying flat, right? We're not shipping code out any faster, but we are creating a lot more code. And that's telling that story that, AI has accelerated our code generation, but our review capacity sort of has stayed the same. And that's where the bottlenecks are going to come in. So we kind of looked at the whole thing. Let's understand a little bit maybe why this is, and to understand why, I highly recommend, if you haven't, check out the 2025 DORA report from Google. They have a sort of cloud state of AI-assisted software development, and there's some really, really useful data in there, really, really useful patterns and trends that we're seeing. And what they're finding is 90% of devs that are using, basically 90% of them are using AI now, right? And most of the development team and developers believe that it's making them more productive. It's increasing the PR volume, but those delivery metrics are staying flat. And you can get that from that report as well. This suggests more that AI is amplifying what might already be there. That, strong teams who are shipping and delivering code, if they have a strong review process, well, that's going to be really great because that code can get in and you don't have to worry about all these other things. But the bottlenecks are going to get amplified too if you don't keep up with that. So this is really connected to how AI is more of a supportive tool and it's not a substitute for human judgment. From that same report, we're seeing that over half, right, of the developers report little to no trust at all in AI. So there's this skepticism that the code being generated may not be doing what they expect or want it to do. But like I mentioned, 80% are reporting, hey, we're more productive. That's kind of a little bit of a paradox there. Reviewers are essentially in this space where they're getting a lot more PRs and the code being generated may or may not be something that they can trust. And so it's taking them a little bit longer to go through the review process as well. And that's sort of the skepticism there. It's not resistance to AI, it's just kind of skepticism in terms of the current state with that code generation. So what can we look for to kind of highlight some of these maybe trends or these patterns in the review process? I mentioned some of these already. You're going to see a huge spike in the number of PRs that you see kind of being generated with your teams across all your repos. That's that code generation. And what you can look for is that increase in the PR queue or increase in the first response time to kind of suggest like, hey, we're getting more PRs, but it's taking longer for our team to pick these things up. How can we kind of mitigate against that? That'll be indicative there. The next one is quality variance, right? Depending on the level of skill or familiarity with AI, you might have some devs who are creating code without the proper context. And when the proper context is not there for this code generation to happen with AI, we're seeing a lot of duplicate code blocks being created. And it's kind of taking patterns in the repo it sees with that context and just making some assumptions there. So you can look at things like code churn rate or duplicate code percent in your platforms to figure out, hey, we're seeing that type of code grow, which might mean an increase in technical debt. AI doesn't know the code base like the engineers might, and so it's going to make a lot of assumptions there. And then, of course, there's the context switching, more PRs each day, each week. They're going to push developers, both from the reviewer side and the authorship side, like to get more context switching cognitive load issues. You're going to have more requests for changes on the PRs, but you're also going to have more review requests from the review side as well. And then, the cycle time and the amount of work going in after can be indicative of, a healthy set of changes that are being shipped. You don't want to be making changes to those PRs after they're merged very, very frequently. And then lastly, this is kind of just an underlying assumption here. I think devs are reviewers, particularly this trust factor we're talking about, we're seeing in the Google data. They're less trustful that the code was cared for when it was generated, right? If it was an AI that shipped the code, they're going to take a little bit extra time to merge that code, and some of the assumptions we had with you know, colleagues that were previously writing code themselves, where their thought behind it may not be there as much. And again, some of those metrics that help with highlighting these things are their cycle time and your change failure rate for that. So with that, what can we do? What can you measure? What can you look at? And the way we've kind of structured this here is there's three layers. We've talked about these three layers so far to give you end-to-end visibility into this entire scenario. You have your DORA metrics at the top, which would kind of suggest the trends, the high level movements between how fast things are going and the type of quality. Those can be, like I said, the lagging indicators, and you'll look at the PR metrics next. That gives you the visibility into the review cycle to help you understand if things during review are really slowing down because of this. And then lastly, how is AI playing a part in all of that can come from some of these, code-centric metrics, right? Where you're looking at the code and how frequently it's changed or if it's duplicated. And you can compare these things before and after AI adoption for your team, right? You can look at a point in time and say, hey, we adopted Cursor back in, July, and we've seen how these metrics have changed before and after can be a helpful way to make a judgment and assessment on, is AI helping or hurting that team? So it's the whole flow, it's end to end. That's what's important. And when you're looking at those PR metrics, there's these 5 are really critical to highlight those as warning signals before you get to this stage. So the first one we'll talk about is first response time. Sometimes it's called pickup time. And with a high PR volume, those queues will delay that, right? You'll see a higher number of PRs not being responded to. And you'll see the time itself, the average time it takes to pick up a PR overall going up as well. One of the core ones we've talked about a lot is cycle time. Not only just the face value of cycle time being important, right? It is important to kind of maintain your averages on overall cycle time for a PR review, but you want a distribution as well. It's going to be, I think, okay to see a majority of PRs below sort of the threshold your team has, but with this amount of code generation and with this amount of new outflow of demand on the reviewers, we're probably going to see the cycle time go up, and it's okay to have some PRs a little bit higher than others, right? You don't want you could have 130-day PR tanking your whole average, and so you want to be able to look at the distribution as a whole and see where they fall in general and be able to investigate there. Code duplication rate can definitely be indicative of AI generating code without the proper context, without the proper prompts even. So that can be something that you can call out with your team to try to improve upon in that way. And then the code churn or post PR work is, the thing that you want to address, where you don't want to be seeing a pattern where the code gets merged and it gets updated. That's going to kill your lead time, the DORA lead time that we were talking about before. It's kind of, can show a rubber stamping of review process. And lastly, your PR size and your merge time, there can be correlations there that, you follow where there's huge PRs generated. They should have a proper review for them. If you're starting to see large PRs, complex PRs getting reviewed very quickly, that can be a little bit of a red flag to the team that they might have to spend a little bit more time and not rubber stamp. Or is the AI review tool you're using enough there to be able to review even the more complicated changes? So to close this out, there's a couple of scenarios I think very useful where you're looking at deployment frequency dropping or even just staying flat. You can check that first response time and find out, hey, are PRs piling up or is the time going up? Some of the things that we found you can do, you can add reviewer capacity or refine your AI review tool to have some better context or things of that nature. Or even use an automation to go ahead and add an extra set of eyes on that to help improve review times or review quality at least. And then another one, obviously, for change failure rate, is going up, meaning we're seeing more bugs shipped to production or shipped to our deployment branches, you want to look at that post PR rework or code duplication. Is there AI generating technical debt? You can work with your team to get better context, better prompts through your tools to have a better outcome. Right now, maybe it's product writing the requirements. If you're including in your prompt context, they might not be good enough. So with all that, yeah, highly recommend. Again, you hit up that Google report. They talk about 7 archetypes on the best way to approach working with AI, and what we're talking about here is kind of teams that might be constrained by the process, right? This is stuff that has come up with the AI impact and affecting team workflow process and review process. So thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, again, hit me up on LinkedIn or email. Feel free to check out the DORA report, GitKraken Insights, and appreciate your time.